I would like to propose the only way to solve worthiness issue that I keep coaching people a lot as we discuss about identities, as we discuss about transitioning. Worthiness issue keeps coming up, or worthiness problems. Whatever your understanding of worthiness problems are, I would like to propose that worthiness can be solved only with one way, and there is no other way, at least according to how I have practiced and solved in my own life, and how I helped so many of my clients solve for themselves. And before I introduce that solution, which I believed that is available and accessible to all of us, but it feels like it's not. And before I do that, I would like to bring your awareness to how we have been solving worthiness in the wrong way. And as usual, when I say wrong, what I mean is it's harmful and it doesn't solve and it costs a lot. So, the way that we have been trying to solve worthiness issue by conditioning it, and I have talked about this before, and I want to reiterate it here. So, the conditioning that I mean is we have solved in the past as a society, or even nowadays as a society, we have solved worthiness by saying that if you study well, if you are a good daughter or son, if you are excuse me, if you are a good person, then you are worthy. Or if you are successful, then you are worthy. If you have status, then you are worthy. If you are rich, then you are worthy. If you are this way, then you are worthy. This is how we have tried to solve worthiness issues in our lives up to now. The problem, however, is that the sooner that condition stays on, right? So if we are saying, okay, we are worthy because we work for the UN, we are worthy because we have this status, we are worthy because we have these privileges, and the soon that system goes away, then we're questioning back in the square one as to whether we are worthy or not. Right? This is something that I told you I have experienced so much after my transitioning, as I felt like without the UN, I am no one was really my secret answer. Right? And as I coach a lot of humanitarians on identity of who they are without their jobs, who they are without their titles, without their status privileges, without their profession, and then we get into the feeling of, oh my God, I am really not worthy. And that feeling happens because we have conditioned our worthiness feeling to something external, to something institutional. Maybe some of us make this, I'm worthy if I'm married, or I'm worthy if I have children, I'm worthy if I have family, whatever it is that we are tying our worthiness to something. And as long as we keep trying to solve worthiness that way, it will always be dependency um, generating worthiness. In other words, we keep feeling dependent on those things to feel worthy, and the sooner that thing is no longer there, we are questioning again our worthiness. Right? That's one problem that I want to bring awareness to. The other problem that I've been coaching recently on several occasions, which I found interesting, is that many of us are very self-reflective humans. Humanitarians, as humanitarians, I feel like we are by, I don't know, nature. We like to analyze, we like to assess, and all of these things, and reflect a lot about ourselves and observe ourselves. And as we do that, I have also noticed that several people come to me and say that I have these self-worth issues. I can see that. I also see that the reason why I have these self-worth issues is because I'm really tying myself to that thing externally and therefore feeling like I'm not worthy. I am aware of it, they say. But then when I ask them, okay, what are you doing about it? And then they feel like, well, I am suffering, I'm struggling. Essentially, they tell me they're not doing anything about it. So this is where I realize that no matter how much we have awareness about what's going on, how much awareness about how the problems are, why the problems are, if we understand that we are making our worthiness dependent on other people, dependent on external situations, dependent on that system, dependent on that job, then we will always be living our lives, experiencing our lives as a roller coaster. The more we realize it, now is the time we did something with it. And that's why this episode is all about me encouraging you all how to solve the worthiness issue the best. So, since we learned in our own experiences, right? Don't take it from me. You see in your own experience, you like, as you make your own reflection, ask yourself, how are you solving your worthiness problems? How have you solved before and why it's not working? You start realizing that the reason why it has never worked is because we mystified it in some way, or we conditioned it to something else, or we just believe that this is something that can't be solved, and therefore we just keep staying in the struggle story. And the struggle stories can be so many different things. One of the main ones that many clients tell me is the main thing is they feel like they're not worthy of living this successful life. They are not worthy of having all the things that they would like to. They are not worthy of being in healthy relationship. They are not worthy of having this great job and in this great place. Whatever that struggle story is, right? Now, notice that whatever the way that you have solved or tried to solve until now, if it is not working or hasn't worked, is because you haven't really unconditioned, meaning untied it from all those external things. And the other reason might be that you just keep feeling like this is one of those things that takes years of therapy or years of psychoanalysis and all of the other things. And again, my advocacy is never don't do it, but I just want you to really get clear with yourself as to um, why are you saying is the reason why you cannot solve this on your own or with someone's help. And once you understand why you are staying in that struggle story, why you are not able to solve it, and once you recognize those reasons, and I showed you those reasons, then here is the solution that I believe is the most effective. And that solution is you accepting yourself worthy no matter what. And this takes practice. And instead of keep practicing how you're not worthy and how you're not this and how you're not that, and keep conditioning yourself and practicing that, instead of doing that, go and practice as you hear me say it now, practice accepting yourself, feeling worthy now without anything external changing, without you finding a job, without you getting a job, or without having a job, or if you are doing something, not doing something, whether you have a partner, don't have a partner, whatever it is, without any of those things changing externally in your life, can you accept yourself feeling worthy now without any conditions? And sit with it. And in the beginning, it might be challenging to accept yourself being worthy for no reason, in quotes. Because your brain will be saying, well, we can't just be worthy. We need to like prove that we're worthy, right? So you can also ask yourself, why is this constant desire to prove that you're worthy? Right? Can we accept that we are worthy without any conditions? And another step is, can we practice it in our lives as we go around doing things? Now, this is how it may look like in practice, right? In practice, it may look like that, okay, we woke up and let's say that we don't have a job. Let's say that we're searching for a job. And then our emotional state is a bit like, oh, if I had a job, I would be successful and all the other things that I would be experiencing. And because I don't have that job, I'm feeling shitty, all of those things. Instead of going into that default mode that many of us know too well how to do that, the first thing we do is, okay, if I accepted myself feeling worthy, whether I have a job or I don't have a job, how might I feel about myself, right? Explore answers for yourself. Because oftentimes, this is what I see that is so difficult for many people, and I totally hear you, where if we don't have a job or if we used to be, let's say, successful in our circles, in our family member, in front of our family members and all of those people, we used to see ourselves very successful and very like up and going, all of those things. And now that we don't have it, it takes such a toll on us, feeling as if like we're trying to eat ourselves up by saying how we're not good at this or how we should be doing this and we're not doing it and how we're not worthy and how this and how that, and just keep adding a lot of these problems onto us. That is really not the time, because we want to concentrate on job search, right? Or we want to concentrate on finding something else, whatever it is that we're trying to do. We don't need additional problems that like, or keep entertaining problems that our brain keep bringing as problems because of worthiness issues. And in order not to do that, so then can we accept that we are worthy whether we have a job, we don't have a job? Can we accept it? And most importantly, can we practice that acceptance? And if we do, if we don't tie our worthiness to anything external, anything internal, and we just say, okay, I'm worthy for who I am as a human, what happens after, right? And I can only say my experience of doing this is, as I said, after leaving UN, my secret answer to who I am was really, well, I'm no one. I'm no one without UN, right? And then I realized what that answer really meant is, well, I'm not really worthy without UN. And then I realized even further my shock about, oh my God, how can I exist in life only because of UN? Or how can I just see my worth if I work for UN and I don't see my worth if I don't work for UN, right? That's ridiculous, but that's how I have constructed myself at the time. And then I thought, okay, that's not how I want to experience my life. I don't want to experience my life, keep proving my worthiness everywhere I go with everyone I talk to. That's exhausting. That's so not the way that I that's not who I want to be, essentially. So therefore, like, being aware of this is what we're doing, being aware of how this is leading us to suffering is absolutely a great thing, except we need to now do something with it. And if anything that you can do in this process that is so difficult for many people, anything that you, like, if anything that you can really do about this job search and all of this is, don't tie your worthiness to a job or success or all the other things that your brain believes that you should be having in order to feel worthy. So practice feeling worthy now without any condition. So the way that I did is I said, okay, if I want to be someone on my own standing without the UN, then who do I want to be? And most importantly, how do I want to feel about myself, whether I have a job or I don't have a job? Whether I'm successful or I'm not successful, how do I want to feel about myself? Because I'm the person I hang out the most inside myself, right? And then I realized, okay, I want to feel worthy about myself. I want to feel confident. I want to feel powerful. I want to feel um, joyful. I want to feel everything is possible. I want to feel I always get what I want. All of those things I want to feel. It doesn't matter whether I work for this agency or for another one or I work for myself. I want to feel those things without conditioning to anything external. Can I do that? Okay, how do I practice it? And that's how I started practicing myself. I started really sitting with myself and feeling, okay, I want to feel, experience myself worthy without any conditions. How do I do that? And it felt uncomfortable at times. It felt unbelievable, or I'm just like kidding myself at times. But I have persisted to a point where I never questioned my worthiness anymore. Not only that, I stopped using my worthiness issue as a reason why I can't do XYZ. I just felt like, okay, enough with all of this worthiness issues. I don't want to be solving my whole life worthiness issues because it's just, I don't even think it needs solving, essentially. What was really needed that I never knew and now I know, obviously, is me practicing feeling worthy at all times was what was needed. And instead of doing that, I was all about, million other things to try out. So that's why, if anything, I can say anything that you can work on. Hearing from me from this episode is go practice feeling worthy no matter what your circumstances, your situations, your job situation, your relationship situation, no matter what it is. Excuse me. Find that feeling of feeling worthy no matter what. And if your brain wants to condition to something else, ask yourself why. Excuse me. If your brain also wants to prove, ask yourself why do you need or why there is a need to keep proving. Why can't you just accept yourself being worthy for who you are? Why do you need another reason, another proof, another thing to prove that you are worthy? Why? And you start realizing that worthiness was never a problem. The problem was you forgot to practice it, to see and feel the impact of it. And that's what I would like for you to do. Feel and see the impact for yourself. Observe yourself, seeing how worthiness feels if you didn't condition to anything else. Okay, my dears. If you have any questions about this and you're confused about it, or you have like, but, let me know. I would love to help you with all the buts. But as long as we're not solving this, we keep using it as a reason why we can't XYZ, or why we need to keep proving, or why this and why that. And that's how we're not going to live the life of freedom, the life of fulfillment, life of acceptance, life of amazingness that we are. Okay, my dears, have a